being Canadian could be interpreted in so many different ways. So many different people, cultures, and histories make up that question.
Canada is a place that is bigger than the sum of its parts, and it always used to bother me when people said that Canadians had no identity, because I felt like I had an identity, right? But I often had trouble articulating exactly what it was. The program studies Canadian stories, basically. So it looks at all the different contexts in which we find ourselves as Canadians, and it looks at them from an interdisciplinary point of view. So what I mean by stories isn't just sort of tales that you tell around the campfire, right? But ideas and values and ways of acting that are actually our own, that are uniquely Canadian. So the Canadian Studies program looks, for instance, at political stories like who gets to belong, who gets to call themselves Canadian.
What are the relationships between Canadians and Americans?
The history of First Nations people.
Why is hockey such a big deal to so many Canadians? What should the role of our armed forces be?
The immigrant population and their contributions to the country.
We look at things like the environment and how that has a role in the Canadian imagination.
Basically, it covers everything from history to the political realm, society, culture, labor relations, anything about Canada this program covers.
So, you know, really, I don't think that there's actually a limit to the types of topics that you could study. There's a great deal of flexibility in the Canadian Studies program. We have over 200 courses in our list now, and they're taught at all times of day and across 22 different faculties.
You can take so many different courses that do relate to Canadian culture in general, but that doesn't mean you have to take a specific Canadian Studies course. For example, I'm taking a history course that deals with all about Canadian studies since the 1600s.
You can really decide what aspect of Canadian studies that you want to do yourself, and we can put together a degree for you that is informative, fun, and rigorous. The better you understand Canadian stories, I think the more successful you are going to be in your private life and in your professional life.
I'm applying to law school, so I find that the very detailed readings that we have to do, the papers, those I feel will help me in future studies.
Well, Canadian Studies is giving me all the necessary materials, knowledge, and experience to be involved in my country, whether it is I want to join the civil service, try to become an elected politician, or mostly just to help to vote in elections.
The Canadian Studies degree makes more successful citizens.
One day we're going to be part of Canadian society and contribute to the government, to the way everything is class-wise, and we should really know what we're doing and be passionate about it.